My name is Mohammed Saleh Mohammed Ali. I am a Sahrawi gardener. I was born and raised in a refugee camp southwest Algeria. I was studying in high school before my study was interrupted in 2018 and I had to return to the camps. I then started studying English in a Salam English Center. The learning program was 1 hour and a half, 5 days per week, so I wanted to do something in my free time. I started gardening as a hobby. The small garden is next to my house. I named it the Nomad Garden. In my journey in English language, I took agriculture as a field to practice English, and I have learned a lot of interesting subjects and ideas, such as climate change and permaculture. Then I began recycling stuff from the garbage around the camp. I used plastic bottles and empty tires to build a wall around the garden to protect the plants from the harsh conditions and sandstorms, and even used parts of my father's Land Rover to provide shade for the plants in the summer, as well as mulching with piece of plastic and gravel above the area of the plant to prevent water evaporation and other different techniques. My ancestors had no agricultural background, so I had to start from the very beginning. The first year was just to face the main problems: water, heat, wind, and the poor soil. So I spent a lot of time discovering, observing, and thinking in order to solve these problems creatively. The first problem I had to deal with was the poor soil. You can barely plant something. By doing a small research, I began to use different types of organic fertilizers, such as the kitchen waste. I used to clean the sheep, goats, and chickens' houses and throw their manure away. Now I use it as a fertilizer for the plants, and it's very effective. When it comes to the most important element of agriculture, water, it is quite challenging as we receive a limited amount of water each month. Tal Ibrahim Khalil, a Sahrawi agriculture engineer, came up with a great idea: sandoponic. It is structured from 7 floors. Each floor has 6 containers to grow green fodder, which is able to feed about 10 goats. Each container has holes in the bottom, so once you water the containers in the top, the water goes down just to the other containers, and then it goes to a collective piece of plastic. Finally, the water can be reused whether to the plants or the sandoponic again. Another type of sandoponic is a raised bed with sand compiled in dried vellus covered with plastic, and the plastic has hole in the bottom, so once you water it, the water goes through the sand to the hole and you collect it and can reuse it again. In such harsh conditions, it seems to be the most effective technique. It saves us about 97% of water. The heat in the summer gets up to 50 degrees Celsius. We barely have water for ourselves, let alone growing a tree. One of the solutions I did was to recycle the cleaning hands water, kitchen water, and even my showering water. Also, the type of the tree and the soil are very important to survive in such harsh conditions.
قلت له الكور نديرو لها الغرد باش منين قاني اسمو منين يمثل من العرسة نمرقو ننظفو وندير غرد جديد ونقاني ذا الغرد اللي فيه العرسة ونديرو هون ندير أشجار باش التراب ما تكسر ويمشو عروق هذا يعروق يمشو في الغرد مال هاي التراب اللي رجعتها لها اللي عليه
هاي تبي ترد من بعد هاي النباتات تقدر
منين هذو اللي نقول لك ها فيه زينين اصلا هي الطريقه طريقه الان وايت تدير اير باكيت دلو الهواء بلاصه الهواء وهذا رايك منين يتحلوا يبقى شلون لا ديد والله وذاك هواء يخلي فراغ العروق مول يجبروا الكربون قدامهم هو زين قال لي دي في بلد دالو الهواء ذا يدير في بلده قادر من هذا.
Luckily, I have the support of my family. Every member of the family visit the garden every single day, whether to help or to discover, because almost every day there is something new in the garden. So it became part of our daily routine. I always loved to have a lot of different animals. Now I have chickens, goats, rabbits, ducks, turtles, different plants and trees in order to encourage biodiversity in my garden. I'm running two tiny projects. I sell milk and coriander in the market and use the money to support the garden. The farm produces milk, eggs, coriander, tomatoes, basil, lettuce, kale, courgettes, garlic, carrots, turnip, beetroot, and parsley. I have come to see how important it is to know what you eat in order to know who you are, and to be self-reliant, especially in our case, as international aid is decreasing every year. Nelson Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it is done." My goal is to have the most successful garden in the desert, and I think I caught that rope tip in my hand, as the Sahrawi people say.